Good morning, students. Once again, I am here to discuss the rest of the chapter 5 of class 8 named A Letter to God, and we will continue the chapter from page number 32. And let's read the first line. Don't be so upset, even though this seems like a total loss. This line means that we should never got so depressed, so upset, even though in our tough times. Means even though we are thinking that we are not having anything, that then also we should always think positive. We should never get depressed. Remember, no one dies of hunger, because we should always remember that no one dies of hunger. That's what they say. No one dies of hunger. Lencho was thinking of all these, and he's saying that people always say that no one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lencho thought only of one his hope. Okay, all through the night, means or during all the night, the Lencho was only thinking of his one hope, and the hope was the help of God. What he was thinking, that God is there and he will help in his troubled time, in his tough time. Okay, the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. What is written over here now? Lencho is describing, author is describing the God, that God is the one who can see everything in the world, in the country, even the thing which is deep in the soul, deep in the heart, which no one know, but the God knows. Okay, he is telling that God whose eyes, as he had been instructed, means he is from the childhood, he is got to know that God knows everything around the world. Okay, even the thing which is deep inside one's conscience. Conscience means inner soul, in the deep, in the heart. Okay, Lenchu was an ox of a man. Here it is a printing mistake. Instead of on, it will be an. Okay, so Lenjo was an ox of a man working like an animal in the field. An ox of a man is a phrase which means a very strong man. And Lencho is a hard-working farmer. That's why author referred him as an ox of a man. Instead of working like an animal in the field, he also knew how to write. Okay, but still he knew how to write. So he is that much educated that he is able to write. The following Sunday at daybreak, he began to write letter which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. In the following Sunday, which means in the same week when Sunday came, at the daybreak, means when he stopped working in his field at daybreak, he began to write letter. He wrote a letter which he himself would carry, and after he wrote a letter, he carried the letter to the post office, to the town, to the post office, and mail that letter. It was nothing less than a letter to God, and the letter was nothing but a letter to God. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. And he wrote to God that if God will not let him help, so he will not be able to survive. He and his family will not be able to survive. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop come. And what he need 100 pesos from God. And 100 pesos here means pesos is the currency of Latin America. And 100 pesos. So 100 pesos he wanted from God, so that he can able to sow the field again, and until the crop came he is able to survive with that pesos only, because of the hailstorm. And why did he wanted that money? Because of hailstorm which came, his whole field get ruined. That's why he want that money. He wrote to God on the envelope, put the letter inside, and still troubled. And what did he did after writing that letter? On the top of the envelope he write to God. Means the letter had God. He write to God in the above of the envelope and put the letter inside and went to the town. Okay. At the post office, he placed the stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. And after reaching the post office, what did he did on the envelope, on the top of the envelope? Put a stamp. He placed a stamp on the letter and dropped the letter in the post box, mailbox. One of the employees who was a postman and also helped at the post office. And there, one of the employee was there, a postman by his occupation, and he also helped in the post office. Okay, went to his boy laughing heartily and showed him a letter to God. What did the man do when he got the letter written to the God by Lencho? He started laughing, and with that letter he went to his boss cabin and showed the letter to him. Okay, never in his career as a postman had he known that address. And the postman is saying never in his career he had known that address, means the address of the God. The postmaster, a fat, amiable fellow, also laughing. Here the postmaster is described how he looks. The postmaster is a fat man, means he looks fat, and he is an amiable fellow. Amiable means friendly, and fellow means a person or a companion. So he is a friendly person. He also broke out laughing. He also started laughing after looking at the mail. But almost immediately he turned serious and tapping the letter on his desk commented. But after a while, after a second, he gets serious and he kept the letter on the and he tapped the letter on his desk and said, "What fate! I wish I had the faith of a man who wrote this letter." And he said, "What a faith, what the trust he is having on the God." And he also wished that the same trust and faith of the man he also had. Started up correspondent with God. Means what a faith the person is having that he has started writing a letter to God. And he also had confidence that God will reply him. So in order to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea. His line means, so to maintain the writer's faith, shake the writer's faith in God means to maintain the writer's faith, his trust. Postmaster think of an idea. And what was the idea? That with an idea, answer the letter. And what was the idea? The idea was that the postmaster himself will answer his letter as God. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it, he needed something more than goodwill, ink, and paper. But when the postmaster opened the letter, what he was clear. After reading that letter, he was very clear that he did not need only goodwill. Goodwill means only the friendly nature of help or an ink or a paper. He did not need this much only. He needs something more than that. And what was that? As we all know, he wrote the letter to the God to help him with 100 pesos. So he want 100 pesos. Now the postmaster was clear that he need 100 pesos to help Tencho. Okay, but he stuck to his resolution. But then also postmaster did not change his mind, and he wanted to help the man who wrote the letter, means to help Lencho. Okay, resolution means a firm decision made by someone. Okay, he asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. After knowing that he need 100 pesos, what did he did? He asked some money from his employees, means from his working staff. And not at least that, he also gave his part of money, his part of salary, for some part of salary to help Lencho. And some of postmaster's friend was also obliged, was also happy to give something for their for helping someone in need and someone in help, or some we can call for the act of a charity. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos, and actually it was impossible for him to gather 100 pesos. It was a huge amount. 100 pesos was a huge amount, so it is not possible for postmaster to gather such a huge amount. So he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. So what did he able to send? He is able to send little more than half. Half means 50 pesos, and he is able to send a little more than half. He is only able to collect 70 pesos. You will see that 70 pesos, he had collected 70 pesos in the story. Okay, and then what happened? He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lencho, and with them a letter containing only a single word as a signature, God. And with that money he also kept a letter inside that envelope, and in that letter it is only written God as a signature. Okay. The following Sunday, Lencho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. Means in the next week, on Sunday, Lencho came to post office very early to ask that if any letter is there for him. So what happened? Postman handed him the letter, and on the other hand, postmaster was standing at the doorway of his office, and was very satisfied that he had done something very good. Okay, what happened next? Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing this money. What happened? After seeing the money also, Lencho did not get surprised. Lencho did not react very surprisingly, as he is having very much confidence that his letter will be replied. Okay, such was his confidence, but he became angry when he counted the money. So he was very confident that his letter will be replied, but on the other hand he get very angry when he counted the money. Why he get angry? Because he was asked 100 pesos, but here only 70 pesos was there in the envelope. God could not have made a mistake, nor could he have denied Lencho what he had requested. Means a mistake could not be made by a God, and neither he denied the Lencho's request. Okay, so he was angry by seeing that only 70 pesos was there. And what did happen after that? Immediately, Lencho went up to the window to ask for paper and ink. What did he did? Immediately he went to another counter. Here window means counter. Okay, he immediately went to another counter and asked for a paper and a pen. Okay, on a public writing table, he started to write. On a public writing table means on a government desk, he started writing. Okay, with much wrinkling of his eyebrow. Means it is an expression to show that person is thinking of something. Okay, caused by the effort he had to make to express his ideas. Why the wrinkling of eyebrow is there? Because he was thinking something. Okay, when he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp, which he licked and then affixed to the envelope with a blow of his fist. When he started writing, and after completing writing the letter, what did he done? He went to another counter to bought a stamp. And he licked that stamp. Okay, he licked that stamp to paste it on the envelope, and after licking it, he affixed the stamp on the envelope and blow off his feast. Means he put the stamp on the envelope and glued it and gave a force of his feast. Okay, the moment that the letter fell into the mailbox, the postman went to open it, and as well as the letter was get in the mailbox, the postmaster was very excited to see what the Lencho wrote. So he immediately ran to the mailbox and opened the letter. It said, so what did it written? He started reading, God, of the money that I asked for. He was writing like, God, the money I was asked for, only 70 peso reached me. So what he is saying that I was asking for 100 pesos, but only 70 pesos reached him. Send me the rest. Please send me rest of the money, since I need it very much, because he is need it very much. He is very needy for that 100 pesos, for that 30 pesos. But don't send it to me through the mail. But please do not send the mail, my another mail with that rupees in the mailbox, because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Lencho. Why did he said this to not send it through the mail? Because he thinks that the post office staff was very much crook. Crook means not a good person. They are a dishonest people. So he think that the post office staff was very much crook, and at last he had written Lencho. In this story is written by G.L. Fluence. Okay, and it is an ironical story. Ironical story means a story which is something opposite to its literal meaning and somewhere funny. So as we know that we cannot write a letter to God, but in this story, a person Lencho has written written a letter to a God. That it's very opposite to a literal true. And on the other hand, it is very funny because Lencho said crook to those people who really helped him. And also it gave us a moral value to have faith on God until and unless it is our tough and troubled time. That's how the chapter ends. Now we will meet with the second chapter.